Let's go, let's go, let's go. Thank you guys. I appreciate you for being here on Thanksgiving. I know you got, places to be, people to see. I thank you greatly for taking the time out to pop in and say thanks and happy Thanksgiving.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
God bless the United States.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing.
It's a new form of vicious violation to our country.
They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means? Acclimated.
All right, what's up, everybody? How are you doing? Happy Thanksgiving to those that celebrate. I appreciate you once again for taking the time out to pop in, say happy Thanksgiving. If you're here for the whole show, I appreciate you for doing that as well. But like I said, I know you guys got places to be, people to see, lots of things happening today. Going to be a more laid-back show. A couple things to get into, obviously, some updates on the shooting in D.C. We'll be taking a look at a couple Midas Touch videos. Ben had a couple good videos with some updates. I'll be looking at some Twitter posts, some blue sky posts from different journalists and different sites that have been coming up with different information about the shooter. We'll be taking a look at just a minute or two of J.D. Vance's Thanksgiving speech, which was just an utter fucking humiliation again, which goes along with everything else that happens. We have an I've Had It podcast video to jump into a little bit of. To talk about Donald Trump and to laugh at Donald Trump about his slurred and confused Thanksgiving speech. And then we got another Midas Touch video from Ben talking about how Zelensky is striking back at what has been going on recently in the news. We got some more frontline updates as well. And then we'll kind of, see if I can get into, maybe answering some questions from you guys. If you send in some super chats with a question, maybe we can get a Q&A session going on. Maybe we can dive into get away from politics, get away from the news, and just kind of maybe, dive into maybe some of the other shit that I watch on YouTube when I'm not consuming the news, when I'm not consuming politics. Just kind of, it's a more laid back aspect today. I know, like I said, you guys are probably running around in the background. If you're not cleaning, you're probably cooking. If you're not cooking, you're probably shuffling people around from one spot to another. But first off, I just want to say that I am very thankful on this week, on this day, for everything that I have, not only for the the viewership that you guys and the support that you guys have shown, but for far more important things. Let's just say, like family. I'm very thankful for the health of my father, the health of my mom, my brother, my sister, Mel, Logan, her parents. So I'm very grateful, very thankful to be in the position that I'm in, able to sit here in front of the camera, able to sit here in front of the microphone and, kind of report on the news, report on the day-to-day aspects of what's going on in the United States politics and abroad. And, I'm very grateful and very thankful that you guys give me the opportunity to do that, as an independent media creator. I know a lot of channels now, a lot of people, a lot of podcasts now come with the, the independent label on it. But, this is true independent media, funded and sourced and completely put on just by you guys that like watching, that find value in this, that are in the financial position to kick $1 or $2 into the Venmo that you see up here, or sign up for a membership for a month, or sign up for the Patreon for a month, whatever it may be. You guys have gone that extra step, gone the extra length in helping and making sure that this show stays on the air and continues to grow. So thank you to the mods first and foremost. You guys have all been with me since the beginning. We've worked together well. You guys have been utterly fantastic. I can't thank you enough for the time that you spent, dealing with the bullshit in that chat. And, I hope you know how much I appreciate it, how much Mel appreciates it, and how much it actually goes to help the channel. So thank you to the mods. Very grateful, very thankful for you as well. And of course, everybody in the chat. You guys are just, I can't say enough about you guys. You guys know how fantastic you guys are already. So, happy Thanksgiving to everybody again, if you celebrate. And again, yes, I know the horrendous history behind it. It's just I can't fucking stand when I hit somebody with a happy Thanksgiving and they hit me with the history that they don't think I know. I know the history, but yes, I will still continue to say happy Thanksgiving because of what it means to me, representing my family and the times that we had together and continue to spend together. So. But first off, I need to know. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for kicking it off. Happy Thanksgiving from Australia. It's 3 a.m. Jesus. You might need a fucking kipper. You might need to get down for a kipper. You're gonna be trashed tomorrow, brother. But I appreciate you for hopping in. Thank you for staying up. I hope you didn't stay up just for me. If you did, I really appreciate it, my man. But hopefully you're up there. If you're like the Australians and I know, you probably got a nice a can of something in your hand, having a dandy of a time. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much. And yeah, but again, anybody have any musical skills? Like, let's start it off on a light note. Well, before we dive into the news and kind of the updates and what's been going on, does anybody in the chat have any like production skills? Because I think I have found my new intro song, or the song that I would like to be created into my new intro. But it would have to be with like somebody that's willing to go back and find like clips of the show, add clips of shit that I was saying, maybe a couple funny moments or something like that, as well as this. But can I put this on the, let me just throw this on the screen for you guys, because I think I showed one of these. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 20. Thank you for everything. We appreciate you. One of the longtime viewers. Thank you so much for everything you do. But yeah, I need somebody with some musical production skills. Let me throw this on the screen for you guys. Because this is another one of the, I think, only uses for AI that this world has ever seen and should probably ever know. But let me throw this on there. If you're going to sit there and look, I don't know what you're doing. So, all right. What are you looking for? It's kind of difficult. All right. Let me throw this on the screen because this is, again, just unbelievably well done. And again, the only good use that I've seen of AI yet. But if somebody could somehow create even just the chorus of this song into an intro somehow, I would be so grateful, and it would be well worth your time. I promise. But listen to how unbelievable this is. And again, this is Jay-Z and Eminem's "Renegade." Again, one of my songs that I grew up with in the childhood. But this is unbelievable. Like, check this out. But please, somebody record it, chop it, cut it with the show. Give me a good intro that I could use that has absolutely no copyright issues, because it's AI. There can't be any copyright bullshit, right? Can't be any copyright shit from that, I don't think. Last I checked. But check this out. This is
Motherfuckers say that I'm foolish. I only talk about users. Bling, bling. Do you fools listen to music, or do you just skim through it?
Oh, come on. Come on.
See, I'm influenced by the ghetto you ruined. The same dude you gave nothing, I made something doing what I do through and through. And I give you the news with a twist. It's just as ghetto point of view. The renegade, you've been afraid. I penetrate pop culture, bring them a lot closer to the block where they pop toasters. And they live with their moms, got drop roasters. From botch robberies, niggas crouched over. Mommy's knocked up cause she wasn't watched over. Knocked down by some clown when child support knocked. No, he's not around. Now how that sound to you, jot it down. I bring you through the ghetto without riding around. Hiding down, ducking straight, some frustrated youth stuck in their way. Just read a magazine and fucked up my day. How you rate music to thugs with nothing relate to it? I help them see their way through it, not you. Can't step in my pants, can't walk in my shoes. Bet everything you work, you lose your tie and your shirt. Yeah. Oh, since I'm in a position to talk to these kids and they listen, I ain't no politician, but I'll kick it with them a minute. Cause see, they call me a menace, and if the shoe fits, I wear it. But if it don't, then y'all will swallow the truth. Brandon Barrett, now who's the king of these rude, ludicrous, lucrative lyrics? Who could inherit the title, put the youth in hysterics? Using this music to stare at, sharing his views and his merits. But there's a huge interference, they're saying you shouldn't hear it. Maybe it's hatred, it's you, maybe it's food for the spirit. Maybe it's beautiful music I made for you to just cherish. But I'm the debated, disputed, hated, and viewed in America as a motherfucking drug addict. Like you didn't experiment. Now that's when you start to stare at who's in the mirror and see yourself as a kid again. And you get embarrassed, and I got nothing to do but make you look stupid. As parents, you fucking do good. It's too bad you couldn't do good at marriage. And do you have any clue what I had to do to get here? I don't think you do, so stay tuned and keep your ears glued to the stereo. Cause here we go, he's jiggered, you jiggered, and I'm the sinister Mr. Kiss My Ass is just a renegade. Never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day. Cause I'm a renegade, never been afraid to talk about anything. Anything. Renegade, never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day. Cause I'm a renegade, never been afraid to holler about anything. I had to
tell me that wouldn't be
ashy knuckles, pockets filled with a lot of land, not a cent. Got a vent, lot of innocent lives lost on the project bench. What you hollering? Gotta pay rent, bring dollars in. By the bodega, iron under my coat, feeling brave a do-rag, wrapping my waves of pockets full of hope. Do not step to me, I'm awkward. I box lefty and north, and my pops left me, and often my mama wasn't home. Could not stress to me, I wasn't grown, especially on nights I brought something home to quiet the stomach rumblings. My demeanor, 30 years, my senior, my childhood didn't mean much, only raising green up, raising my fingers to critics, raising my head to the sky. Big, I did it, multi before I died. No lie, just know I chose my own fate. I drove by the fork in the road and went straight. See, I'm a poet to some, a regular modern day Shakespeare. Jesus Christ, the king of these latter day saints, here to shatter the picture in which that is they paint me as a monger of hate. Satan is scatterbrained atheist, but that ain't the case. See, it's a matter of taste. We as a people decide if Shady's as bad as they say he is, or is he the latter, a gateway to escape, needy scapegoat who they can be mad at today. See, it's as easy as cake, simple as whistling Dixie, while I'm waving the pistol at 60 Christians against me. Go to war with the Mormons, take a bath with the Catholics in holy water. No wonder they tried to hold me under longer. I'm a motherfucking spiteful, delightful, lifeful. The new Ice Cube, motherfuckers hate to like you. What did I do, huh? I'm just a kid from the gutter making his butter off these bloodsuckers. Cause I'm a motherfucking renegade. Never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day. Cause I'm a renegade. Never been afraid to talk about anything. Anything. Renegade, never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time. Cause I'm a renegade, never been afraid to talk about anything.
So fucking chop it, cut it, whatever you gotta do. Happy Thanksgiving. Give me an intro. You got your fucking instructions. The orders are out there. Represent. But come on, I mean, it's unbelievable. I love it. I fucking love it. I know people hate AI. I'm sure artists probably hate that, but it's fucking food for my soul, if you ask me. All right, let's dive into, sorry, I figured it would kick it off on the right, break a little sweat. Everybody's going to have to, work off what they ate today anyway, so you might as well start early, but I appreciate it. All right, let's dive into a little bit of the news since I made you suffer through that. So there have been some updates, obviously, as to who the shooter was, the connections the shooter had, past history about the shooter, the Afghan national that shot the two West Virginia National Guardsmen. But, excuse me as I catch my breath now that I'm fucking completely shot from 3 minutes of dancing. But anyway, so, fingers have been pointing back and forth. That, he was given asylum under Biden. He came under Biden, given asylum under Trump. So we're going to break it down and, kind of point the finger in the right direction if you get my drift. But this is Ben Mycelis, obviously, from Midas Touch, breaking it down. This is from about 15 hours ago. Got a little over 1 million views at this point. Just kind of breaking down what we know, the new information about, asylum, who granted it when he first came in, kind of the rundown of the timeline and everything, just so you guys can have the most up-to-date information about what's happening. Of course, probably, if you're being challenged on social media or at the dinner table with family that may not be on the same side of the political spectrum as you guys, I'm sure everybody's going to be in a little bit of a pickle today, or some people are going to be in a little bit of a pickle today with that aspect. But all right, let's dive into a little bit of this, get everybody up to speed on, what we know about the shooter, his history, his asylum process, coming from Afghanistan, from the withdrawal, possible motives, that type of thing. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving again to everybody who celebrates. And if you don't, just hope you have a wonderful day as usual. But please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. Send that clip, that last clip, send it to a producer or somebody that has musical skills. I need it. All right, let's go.
This is a breaking news alert. The suspect who was involved in the shooting of 2 National Guards members in Washington, D.C. earlier in the day was approved for his asylum application by the Trump regime in April of 2025. Let me repeat that. It was the Trump regime that approved the suspect, who we believe to be the shooter and the terrorist, who attacked in a premeditated fashion these National Guards members. Trump's regime approved asylum in April of 2025, right? As the Trump regime has been going after.
Which, you'll notice is it's just mysteriously it's been left out of like things like Jeanine Pirro's press conference, updates on Fox News, updates on OAN, updates on RSBN, anything pertaining to this. It's funny how they leave that little bit of information out as they try to, demonize and denigrate the Democrats and Biden in particular, point fingers at that. But again, not addressing the most recent asylum claim, again, under Donald Trump's administration, which is, again, just goes to show how much they propagandize these stories to try to fit their narrative, to try to mold it around their narrative. They'll leave out very, very poignant parts, very pertinent parts of the story just because it doesn't fit into their narrative. Something that we try very hard not to do here. If it's bad for us, we got to report it as such so we can all stay grounded in reality and know exactly what's going on and not live in this fucking fantasy land of, everything's peaches and cream.
Grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles who have been here in the United States paying taxes, being productive. They've been going in the factories and the farms and the restaurants. Trump has gutted America's counterterrorism capabilities, and it appears that this may be an example where Trump was targeting the wrong people, not the criminals, not the people who were potentially going to be involved in terrorism.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate that. And again, if anybody's just joining us, if you guys if we want to kill some time in a little bit after we get through these news clips and stuff, if you want to throw in, a question in the chat, in the super chat or whatever, and if we have some time, I'll be, more than happy to answer some questions. I know just more of a laid back approach here on Thursday, Thanksgiving for everybody. Like I said, I know everybody's rushing around like a chicken with their head cut off. So, just something in the background for you guys to listen to, just something to kind of, keep you busy while you're waiting for friends and family, if that's what you're doing. And hopefully I'm not interrupting any plans. Again, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking the time out to come in here and say happy Thanksgiving or watch the show, anything like that. I just, I really do appreciate it. All right, let's go.
Acts. Trump was going after the people who were being productive. What do we know about this suspect? Let's break it all down, and then I'll show you a stunning admission that Trump made moments ago where he's like, oh, it was Biden's fault because the person was let in 2021, and we didn't even know how to figure out who this person was. But here's what we know about this individual. You see the individual right here. The name is Ramanullah Lakanawal. From Afghanistan, 29-year-old Afghan national, entered the United States in 2021 as part of a group of Afghan refugees who were fleeing from the Taliban. There was
that could be, I know we don't have any reported motives or anything concrete or, confirmed yet, but, looking at it from what we do know, that could be, a lead to a possible motive. He could be he could be disgruntled about people that, weren't helped. I know, because we know there was a lot of, Afghanis that assisted the United States military in one way or another, whether it be interpreting or, either assisting in combat missions that were, kind of disregarded, that weren't helped, that didn't get the assistance that they were promised, during the campaign, during their, time helping the United States military. So could it point to that? Was it friends and family that he was kind of promised we're going to get out, never made it out? Did something happen in the, because all of these things, could very well point to a possible motive. Again, nothing reported, nothing concrete, nothing confirmed yet. But again, just to speculate as to why something like this might be going down. That could lead to a possible motive too.
And procedure there associated with vetting these individuals. And as far as we know, this individual did not engage in any terroristic acts until now. And again, it's just a suspect, but this seems to be the individual. His name is Lakwinal. He entered the United States on a special immigrant visa as part of Operation Allies Refugee during the American withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. We believe that his permission to be in the U.S. expired in September, but then later on he applied for asylum and was granted asylum in April by the Trump regime. Here we have the description of what went down here on CNN. Let's play this.
What we know is that he comes here from Afghanistan. Now, this
Happy
is a guy
Thanksgiving.
who's been living in Washington State, not Washington, D.C., on the other end of the country. He comes here from Afghanistan in the summer of 2021. Remember what that was like. Refugees fleeing Afghanistan. People had to be recommended by U.S. people on one end, vetted on this end by government background checks as far as they could do in Afghanistan, have sponsors and so on. He settled in Washington. He applies for asylum in December of 2024. Now he goes through another vetting process involving that. And he's approved for asylum in April of this year under the Trump administration. He comes in under the Biden
Again,
administration.
something clearly left out of, I don't know, we're not going to play it, but if anybody caught Jeanine Pirro's press conference or Kash Patel speaking at any of the press conferences, anything like that, where they're talking about how, they're pointing back at the Democrats as being at fault for this somehow, they clearly leave this part out. They clearly and distinctly leave that little tidbit of information out of that whole story, out of their fucking speeches, because it doesn't align. It wouldn't align with the, their propaganda. It wouldn't align with their narrative.
These checks are being done. I remember as a part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force in New York, where we supplied people for that vetting process, it was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of people. They were being kept in military installations. A lot of that vetting had to be done very quickly. I also remember we had to go back afterwards when we found information on certain people and bring them back. In this case,
if we're talking about 2021. We're also talking about several years on, right? So we're talking about, a good 4 or 5 years after that initial vetting process took place, that this action happened. You know what I mean? So it'd be difficult, I think, for them, especially in, the circumstances that they were facing with the onslaught of Afghani refugees, having to go through the asylum process, having to vet people, as fast and as quickly as possible. I think it'd be very hard for them to predict, this happening, 4 or 5 years in the future. But again, that doesn't give Donald Trump's administration the excuse for doing this and applying and accepting this asylum claim just in April, as they said. You know what I mean?
That's all we know about this individual, but it appears that he must have done work.
There was also this as well that I had, where there was this raw alerts where it says Ramunala Alakanwal, the Afghan terrorist who shot National Guardsmen, who worked with the CIA as a member of a partner force in Kandahar, Afghanistan, per CIA Director Ratcliffe. There's his picture and his little ID tag there. Afghans who fought in secret CIA-trained force face legal uncertainty. This is just kind of referencing the same legal force that the same force that he's talking about here. Fighters from the 0 units got work permits when they escaped to the U.S. Those permits expire soon, and now some fighters worry their CIA past might be working against them. So could this somehow be motive where they feel like they're maybe some of them are getting exposed, or some of them, after their permits have expired, are going to be sent back. I don't know. Again, all speculation, nothing confirmed, nothing reported as of yet. But, without in the absence of all answers and information, we're left to kind of speculate. So, a lot of possibilities, a lot of ifs, ands, and maybes out there right now. But yeah, just kind of the latest that we heard on that. I wanted to kind of make sure you guys stayed up to date. But keeping in the Thanksgiving tradition here and the lightheartedness of today's show, why don't we take a look at the worst Thanksgiving speech, or just a portion of the worst Thanksgiving speech in the history of the fucking universe. The history, even worse than anything Donald Trump has managed to pull out of that fucking disgustingly tiny little mouth he has. Check this out. This is just a minute 19 of again, the worst speech in Thanksgiving history by the vice president here, J.D. Vance. Again, trying to really pump up the troops. pumping up the troops like only, the guy that wrote articles knows how to do. But here we go. Check this out.
That's why, for example, we have, Turkey. Think about Turkey. Who really
when I first heard this, I was like, yeah, he's definitely talking about the country, right? He's not saying it right, considered they just changed how you say it. But, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say, I thought he was definitely talking about the country, Turkey. Like, maybe we got missile, I don't know what he was going with, but that's what I thought. I didn't even register in my mind that he was going to be going on in this speech about actual Turkey and how people don't like Turkey on the biggest day for Turkey ever. It just
likes. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, ready?
Who really likes?
I'll go back because he says that nobody likes Turkey. I don't want to miss that part because again, if he didn't get fucking tarred and feathered and sticks and stoned from this one, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. He might as well have said cheeseburgers.
Think about Turkey. Who really likes? Be honest with yourselves. Who really likes turkey?
I like turkey. I don't like it when it's like horrendously dry or fucking undercooked. You know what I mean? But I definitely like turkey. I'm a weirdo. I'm very picky when it comes to food, and I don't like cold meats. Like I don't need fucking deli meats or anything like that. I don't need sub sandwiches or anything like weird shit like that. It's got to be hot. I like hot ham, hot turkey, that type of stuff. But yeah, turkey's. And you guys like turkey, right? Anybody who doesn't like turkey? Like I don't know. I've never met. I'm the total opposite in what I've known in the people that I've known in my life. Like who doesn't like turkey? I know Chris loves it. I know Wes loves it. I see all the mods love it. Everybody loves it. No, I know. I'm a weirdo. Like I said, I'm Roxanne. I'm fully able and willing to admit that I am the weirdo in that situation, and that people love their deli meats and their cold sangies. That I'm definitely a weirdo when it comes to food. I'm right hand up on that. Been picky my whole life. I grew up on, mom and dad can attest to Jello pudding and yogurt and peanut butter and jellies and not much else. I mean, obviously I've expanded a lot more since then, but it's got to be a particular way. You know what I mean? So I'm one of those assholes. But thank you. Yeah, and everybody loves it. Turkey lover. Everybody loves turkey. Again, think about what he's doing. It's Thanksgiving. Even if you don't like turkey, fake it, right? It's Thanksgiving. Like just fake it. Just get through this. Why even add this into the speech? All right, we'll go back a couple seconds. But again, here, we'll finish out the rest of this minute of the worst Thanksgiving speech ever given by a vice president. Check this out.
Yourselves, who really likes turkey? You're all full of shit. Everybody who raised your hands. I know. Think about it. And here's how I know that every single one of you who raised your hand is lying to me. How many times do you roast an 18-pound turkey just randomly? Just, a nice...
I'm sorry. Does the vice president of the United States think that quite literally the only day that Americans eat turkey ever is on Thanksgiving? I know, the question would be, JD, how often would you need an 18-pound turkey, right? The reason you need the 18-pound turkey is because you have friends and family coming over because of the holiday. So, again, I'm sure there's multiple occasions where people do roast turkeys. I'm sure we'll hear it here. But it just doesn't have to be an 18-pound turkey, and I'm sure people love going to the deli, picking up turkey, having it for fucking, lunch at work. What? I mean, does he honestly think, today's the only day that Americans eat turkey ever? I'm so confused. I don't understand it. What is he talking about?
Summer afternoon, we're going to go get an 18-pound turkey.
No, you'll go get a turkey sub or a turkey sandwich or a pound and a half of fucking turkey from the deli so that you can make sandwiches at home. What are we doing? Hello? Am I being fucking punks right now? Hello? McFly?
Nobody does it because turkey doesn't actually taste that good. But on Thanksgiving,
it's literally crack. It's fucking so crack that people know it puts you to sleep. It's known to put you to sleep, and people still can't get enough of it. That's how much people like it. They know, okay, I'm gonna be farting and burping on myself on the couch in about 25 minutes if I eat this amount of turkey. But fuck it, I'm going in. That's how much people enjoy turkey. They're willing to look like a slob in front of friends and family and pass out and snore and fart all over the place, just to enjoy that little bit of turkey. Right? Christ almighty. Tryptophan might as well be another fucking food group in America.
on the most American holiday. I gotta.
Sorry, hold on. Let me put it back on the screen. Sorry. Oh Jesus, I can't. It's just the idiocy of these idiots.
Giving on the most American holiday. I got a fan over here. On the most American holiday, we're gonna cook a turkey, by God, because that's what Americans do. We cook this gigantic American bird, and we do all kinds of crazy things to make it taste good. I talked to a soldier.
Easy, JD. Easy. What are you mistaking that turkey for a couch now? What kind of weird shit are you doing to that turkey to make it taste good? God, I shudder to think. I shudder to think what's happening in the fucking Vance household with JD Vance and that bird that he's doing to it to make it like he's stuffing it all right. Yeah, I'm sure JD's stuffing that bird all right. Oh, geez. He can't tell you what he's stuffing it with because Mike Johnson's phone alarm will go off. His son might fucking disintegrate. Come on, where is it? Where is it? Don't I have the JD? Oh, come on. Where is it? JD Mandel. Come on, I have it somewhere. It's in here somewhere. Everything got moved around, so I don't know where any of it is anymore. Oh, there it
We've
is.
endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel, and he's doing great.
Oh, and it's not even it. He's still got fucking 25 seconds left.
Today, who she said she's going to deep fry a turkey, and I'm actually going to deep fry a turkey myself tomorrow. And
why? What are you deep frying something you don't like? What is going on? So you just spent fucking 50 seconds railing against turkeys, and then just to tell us that you're going to go on and roast it, you're going to fucking cook a turkey tomorrow? What the fuck? Oh, they're all tapped. I don't know how we find them, but not only do we find them, but somehow they managed to get elected. I don't know.
Here's the thing. If you've got to deep fry something to make it taste good, it probably isn't that good. That's a pretty good rule.
Okay, so oh Jesus Christ. So Americans don't like chicken. There's no chicken tastes like shit, apparently. Nobody likes chicken. Oh, Jesus H. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how whatever that is, somehow managed to squeeze his way into the fucking vice president of the United States. Unreal. But all right, to sticking with the theme of Thanksgiving speeches, the I've Had It podcast ladies, both Jen and Pumps, or it might have been Jen and her husband, I'm not sure, because the other one has been on vacation, I believe. But yeah, these two had something to say about Donald Trump's Thanksgiving speech where he was slurring, talking about fucking turkeys as well and all that all that shit. No better than JD Vance. Again. Just Donald Trump has the excuse that his brain is quite literally melting through his ears and out of his ears every single day, visibly on camera. I don't know what JD Vance's excuse is. I'm not sure. Like maybe too much time around Donald Trump. Like, this is like a case of like the owner turning into the dog. You ever see that shit where like after a long time the fucking the owner starts to look like the dog? Oh, sorry, but that's all I can picture in my head. Like, what's his excuse? What's his excuse? All right, let's hear Jen and I think Pumps rag on Donald Trump in his Thanksgiving speech. I'm not 100% sure. It might be her husband. Let's check it out. I appreciate it. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I just want you to know that we are building a community here of independent, pro-democracy media. And it is important that we continue to do so.
And not to, I'm not calling anybody out on this, but you can see how when I said at the beginning of the show how that word independent media is thrown around a lot. Well, I mean, is it like, at what point are you not independent media? Because I know there's a Shopify, like they do a Shopify, and, to each their own. Whatever you got to do to make it work and, whatever business plan you think works for your business, fine, totally awesome. Not knocking you. But is it independent? Like at what point is it not independent? I don't know. It's just kind of something that I kind of am confused about, right? Because you've heard increasingly more everybody talk about independent media, independent creator, independent this, independent that, when in reality, there must be some sort of way to define what actually is an independent creator. Because if you got 7 ads in your show, in your videos and stuff like that, are you really independent? Because at some point, is Shopify going to not like something that you're reporting on? Or, I don't know. That's always something that I think about in the back of my mind. But, again, not calling anybody out, to each their own. A lot of people, a lot of accounts have the exact same approach that are on the progressive left, that are on the left side of things, and on the right side of history. So again, to each their own here. I just here at Blunt Politics try my best, or am trying my best, to stay away from that part of the aspect of the business where I'm not, beholden to, any corporate fucking, sponsors, or I'm thinking about, is this sponsor going to be okay if I talk about Gaza, or is this sponsor going to be okay if I continuously talk about Ukraine, or, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would kind of give me, second thoughts, or I'd always be thinking about it in the back of my mind. So I try to, again, not hide anything behind a paywall. You don't have to come out of pocket with a single cent to watch any of my content, nothing like that. Anything that, comes from the audience is purely because you find some value, entertainment. You like the people in the chat, you like the community, whatever it may be. But it is solely produced and, funded by you guys, 100%. No corporate sponsors, no backers. I don't even think these lives are actually monetized. Right. If I could probably bring up my YouTube studio and I could prove to you right now that these lives aren't even monetized. Right. So I whatever it is, as far as ad revenue, I got about a cent and a half, I think, over the last, since I've been on YouTube. So I'm trying to do it the right way. I'm trying to do it, the green, I don't know, what do you call it? Through grassroots, basically. You know what I mean? All right. But let's dive into it before I get too deep into my spiel, my bullshit.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I just want you to know that we are building a community here of independent, pro-democracy media. And it is important that we continue to do so, because we need to have our own ecosystem of pro-democracy, pro-human rights information, especially on this day where we can be grateful that we still at least have each other and our ideas. But in the interim, we're stuck with Kankles McTaco Tits, whom I refer to as Kanks merely for spite, because it's so fun to browbeat this guy. We have him calling the sitting governor of Illinois, whom he's wildly jealous of. I'm talking about J.B. Pritzker. We have him calling Pritzker a fat slob because, Kanks is just so presidential. Play the clip.
And again, remember, as she said, presidential. This is the president of the United States doing this kind of mundane, ceremonial fucking, Thanksgiving, pardon the turkey, come out, thank the troops, God bless America, on with your day. Shouldn't be that difficult for anybody with kind of 2 brain cells rattling in their fucking dome piece, right? But no, Donald Trump couldn't get through it. And this is all written. Like, this is all reading. He's reading off of paper. This isn't like extemporaneously fucking thought of by Donald Trump in the moment at the time. He's not capable of that anymore. So this was all like pre-prepared, planned, attacking people during, again, the Thanksgiving parting of the turkey. Just to kind of, to kind of continuously reiterate how insane the times that we live in are right now. Like, this is something that probably didn't even register on the fucking news scale, right? Just something that you're hearing from, lefty progressive news channels or a podcast like, I've had it, mine, whatever, whoever's showing it to you. But, him sitting there calling governors fat slobs and, fucking the dumb questions he was asking and talking about turkeys eating grass and meat and smoothies and shit. Like, what? And shit. Smoothies? Okay. Yeah, those turkey smoothies. Fucking, you see it all the time. You actually, it's a lot of the time you're ripping the fucking smoothie out of the turkey's hand before you kill it so you can have it for Thanksgiving. I've seen it. If you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times.
If you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. We're going to make your place so safe. You're not going to have these crimes that are making the newspapers and the front page of every newspaper and television story, news story. Will make Chicago a safe place very quickly. I looked at the various cases.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Why is he kind of like holding off to Pritzker's word? Is it because of the judge's ruling that he's just somehow like holding up to, like, because he didn't seem too bothered sending the National Guard into, when he was in California or, other areas? Like, what is he, like, I don't understand. Like, weren't they rappelling off of fucking rooftops and shit? Like, I'm just kind of, I'm kind of curious what he's talking about here, where he's trying to make it seem like he's, going by the word of J.B. Pritzker while also calling him a fat slob.
Mercy, discovering that the terrible trauma that everyone's going through, and I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker and size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, some speechwriter.
So again, when he says his Pritzker joke, he's about to go on to say here, he's about to go on and give it away that it was some speechwriter. So this was pre-prepared, pre-planned, right? Thought of. He had a speechwriter come in to actually write a joke about fucking how JB Pritzker is overweight, to insert it into the presidential pardon of the turkey on the Thanksgiving Day fucking, I'm thankful for everybody's speech that it's supposed to be. That's how insane this is. Like, this was a group of people probably in a room, like, all right, how do we get JB? Who are you attacking? Let's get JB. But everybody, and somebody in the corner was probably like, sorry, you do know this is like, you're just pardoning the turkey, right? All right, you're fired. Like that, that was that was probably the scene going on. Oh, there he is. What's up, Peter? What's up, brother? Donald Dildo drinks at least 12 Diet Cokes a day. Peter, coming in hot. Happy Thanksgiving to you, brother. Good to see you. I feel like it's been a minute. If I've just missed you in there, I do apologize, but great to see you as always. Hope you're having a fantabulous time with either friends, family, loved ones, or all of the above. And again, happy Thanksgiving to you if you celebrate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see some old faces and the new faces mixed together in here in the chat. Thank you so much to everybody for giving me the opportunity, giving me the chance. If you're just joining us for the first time, my name's Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. This is the progressive podcast made to sift through the bullshit of the mainstream media to try to break it down for everyday blue collar working individuals in this country like you, like me, because that's who these policies affect. And that's who can make the real change in this country. So I gave up my blue collar job as a plumber in Massachusetts, moved my ass to California to be with my beautiful girlfriend here, and to give you guys the news and to fight for democracy because I found it that important, and I found it very overshadowing. No matter what we did in our daily lives, if this guy ruins our country, it's really not going to matter. So first and foremost, we're going to make sure we take down the biggest threat. The firefighters go and put out the biggest fires first, right? So, that's basically what we try to do here. But Petey, good to see you, brother. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for being here. That goes for everybody else as well. You guys are very much appreciated.
Do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight.
Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight. So again, just proof that this wasn't like extemporaneous, just him, off the cuff, off a fucking teleprompter, making it up here. This is a prepared speech by presidential advisors, by speechwriters, by fucking people, I don't know, he probably considers comedians, just wild shit.
But I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
Of course, he does that ridiculous backhanded thing where he's trying to say not to do it, but also making sure that he says it as ruthlessly as possible to get it out there in the news that it was said. But also, he doesn't want people saying it, right? Like, he thinks he's doing this like third grade fucking child bullshit of like, faking to come inside while I'll stay inside, Mom. Don't worry. Why don't you go upstairs for a minute and I'll stay right out the door, right? Gone again. But yeah, that's all right. We'll go on. We'll go on for just a minute and hear the response to this nonsense.
All right. This is just first and foremost, I just want to point out that he's morbidly obese, the president of the United States. Secondly, he called a female reporter piggy. He calls people fat all the time. I don't really give a fuck if people do this. I'm not one of these leftists that's going to be like the politically correct police all the time. This is what happens. When it comes to president of the United States, just come on, you've got to be better than us. You've got to be better than the rest of us that do petty things. But this old queen, Kanks, he is so petty. He is so unbelievably jealous of people that are smarter to him, which makes that list so profoundly long because he's so incredibly stupid. And we know this because he constantly talks about IQ. This, I have a high IQ. This person has low IQ, which tells you everything you need to know. At some point, he was online and he took an IQ test, and we're probably talking about a double-digit outcome, which is why he constantly talks about this, which is the same reason he talks about he aced his cognitive test, which tells me he failed his cognitive test. And why has he taken so many of them? And what was the MRI all about? All right, moving along. In this same speech, speaking of jealous, this man is just...
And again, to even make it even more fishy for people, when Donald Trump comes out on Air Force One and he's trying to make it seem like like people don't know what a regular and routine like checkup is, and he's trying to get people to believe that like an MRI is like, yeah, it's just standard operating procedure. Every time you go to the doctors, you get thrown in the tube, right? It just happens. It's just routine. It's just everything, and it's just like people. He thinks people are gonna actually take that at face value and be like, oh yeah, he's right. Yeah, it's every time I go to the doctor, I'm thrown right in the fucking tube. That's what they do. Just right away, that before you even take my pulse, I'm in the tube. You just can't even get a word out edgewise before they throw you in there. They're just dying to get you in there. You know what I mean? So it's like people automatically like, all right, something's up. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to get us to believe that fucking bullshit. Clearly you're hiding something and not hiding it very well. And second of all, look at the size of this rock. Shit. I mean, I know she's an interior designer, but good grief. Who the fuck she married to? As a joke, I'm surprised she's against billionaires because judging by that rock on her finger, it looks like she's married to one. Holy shit.
This bitter old queen, and he's so jealous of Joe Biden. He will not shut the fuck up about Joe Biden. I mean, he cannot get enough of it. Play the clip.
Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid.
We went over this on the show and talked about it, and the crowd gives a giggle because they think he's joking, but Donald Trump is fucking deadly serious about this. Even though the January 6th pardons that Donald Trump's responsible for, we're all done with the auto pen as well. So I guess we're gonna throw all them back in jail. See how that works? You see how that works?
I mean, he's just so stupid. And this is the same guy who did the horrific presidential walk of fame, and he put the sign of it up, and he puts all of these pictures of past presidents, and when you get to Joe Biden, he puts an auto pen. And people within the administration or people within the MAGA movement, they want to be treated as serious because they have serious jobs. And so when asked about this, like JD Vance or Scott Jennings or either one of the fluffers that fluffs Trump or somebody that's in his inner circle, well, he's just a funny guy, he just likes to joke around. These people would lose their shit if any other American president did something.
She goes on here to talk about the picture, that Trump jokingly put up here in his wall of presidents, and it's supposed to be, basically what you're looking at here is the auto pen. It's a picture of the auto pen, and it says Joseph R. Biden in his time and term. Oh, Jesus. Jenny Faye, happy Thanksgiving right back to you as well. Thank you so much. That's incredible. I'm listening and working in the kitchen. Stop to say I'm grateful for this community of sane folks that love and support each other as we fight the crazy. Enjoy food and family today. Love you all. Right back to you from everybody here at Blunt Politics. Me, Mel, Logan, everybody in the chat. Jenny Faye, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please don't work too hard. Get the food served and relax, please. Take your time. You need to take your time on the couch today. I hope you get it. So thank you so much. Very kind, very generous of you. And I can't thank you enough. So very, very, very nice of you. Thank you. But yeah, let's move on. Let's not waste too much time there. Let's see if we can find some extra time at the end of this. See if we can answer a couple questions. If you have any questions in the chat, we'll see. If not, no big deal. Like you said, a lot of you guys have been here since the beginning, so you probably know me pretty well already anyway. But yeah, here's another Midas Touch video. Just kind of play the first couple minutes of this. You can kind of see how amped up he is. I'm a little surprised how amped up he is in this video. But talking about how in the title is Furious Zelensky Strikes Back at Trump and Turns the Tables. Obviously in response to or in regards to the recent talks of the 28 point. Nope. It was the 19 point. Nope. It was the 22 point. Nope. It's the 20 point. We don't know how many point Pete's plan at this point. But yeah, let's just play the first couple minutes of this and then we'll move on and hear some updates from the front line from the professor. And then, yeah, we'll get into, after that, we'll be out of the news, out of the politics side, and we can get into, I'll dip into a few of these videos from a different, couple of these different accounts, different channels on YouTube that, I watch when when I'm not immersing myself into news and politics. We'll end the show that way. That way we're not getting ourselves too wrapped up in the news and frustrated with what's going on. We can get out of here on a light note, but that's to come. All right, let's dive into Ben's video here real quick. Again, just a minute or two, just to kind of get the gist, and then we'll move on.
President Zelensky of Ukraine strikes back with a vengeance against Donald Trump.
We're thankful for the same, Mike. We are very thankful for the same. Very thankful to have you in the community. Very thankful to have you with us. And we appreciate you being here. We really, really do, Mike. So thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, brother.
The Trump regime and Putin, who are in cahoots with each other. You have Zelensky rallying world leaders with the coalition of the willing from Europe to Canada and Australia, bringing them all together virtually in a room to respond to the fact that the United States has, in essence, partnered with Putin to try to orchestrate the surrender of Ukraine. Now,
so I get the sentiment of this. I really do. And it's good to see all of the different leaders sitting with Zelensky and talking with him. But you'd have to see a lot of those people, or at least a few of those people, responsible for, again, not the writing, obviously, or the transfer of the document from Russia to Ukraine with the added threats from the United States, but we're using that, in the second stages in Geneva as a baseline for the negotiations, which I still have a huge problem with. I know we've seen different plans proposed by, the EU, different parties involved, but we don't know the final sticking, what's being proposed, what's being actually sent to Russia, what's actually being sent to Ukraine. I haven't seen the final proposal being talked about yet, if there is one at all, which I'm, again, highly skeptical about, and I continue to be, especially, and even with the reporting from the mainstream media of, deals being signed, agreed upon, whatever it may be. I've been showing you here on Blunt Politics the real truth, the videos straight from the horse's mouth, whether it be Zelensky, whether it be the Ukrainian citizens themselves, the fantastic, war journalists or the war YouTubers here that cover the war independently, for a living. That's what they do. So we've showed you here, whether it be Putin's response, Trump's response, all of it, so you guys could piece together what you believe is happening, what you believe is going on, and I can just give you, kind of my point of view based on the knowledge that I have. So yeah, I'm again, based off what I've seen from Zelensky, his rhetoric, everything since, I am continuously and more skeptical, obviously, of this being beneficial to Ukraine in any way, and if it is, that Russia would sign off on it.
You will recall that about 7 days ago, we were reporting first on the Midas Touch Network before anybody else was really talking about
thank you, Jen.
ambush.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. You too. I think it's just something with the name Jen. It must be. Thank you so much. Battle of the Gens. Can't be outdone. Love you all, and so thankful for the voices of reason as I sit in a house of Mags, Eric's fam. Oh, geez. See, I knew it. Somebody in the chat, and probably a lot of you are in the chat. If you're that blue dot in a red state, probably not having the most comfortable of dinners today. You know what I mean? But thank you, Jen. Thank you, Eric, for everything that you've done, for everything that you continue to do, for your contributions in the chat, for your kind words, and I hope you guys have at least the most enjoyable Thanksgiving as humanly possible, surrounded with who you're surrounded by. All right, but just know that you could win in a debate, win in a conversation if it does kick off. But thank you guys, I really do appreciate that. You've been fantastic. Thank you to everybody. But yeah, just another minute or two of this, and then again we'll dive on here so that we can save some time. But I should probably play the right one.
Donald Trump and Witkoff tried to pull on Zelensky. We reported on the Midas Touch Network. You see right there, I'm bringing out the receipts. 7 days ago, Zelensky checkmates Trump as ambushed by
Paula, never a party of one when you're here in the Blunt Politics community. You have us. You are surrounded by fellow, smart, aggressive, passionate individuals, and we are more than happy to be family when family is needed. So never a party of one. I'm not sure if that's what you were talking about, but again, if anybody is alone today, please don't feel alone. We appreciate you. You're not alone. You are recognized. You are appreciated. You are supported. If anybody needs anything, obviously feel free to reach out in the chat or reach out, via email to whoever it is. I know this is also, we have to recognize, a tough time for a lot of people. A lot of people going through the holidays, having, just lost a loved one, or whatever the hardship may be. So we also must recognize that not everybody is in a joyous mood or a celebratory mood, and we need to be cognizant of that and mindful of that when we talk about our friends and family. Make sure that we're supporting people that may not be in the best of times, may not have the support system around them. Just make sure they know they have somebody that they can reach out to, a family, a group, whether it's on Patreon, Blue Sky, whatever it may be. We're here for you. All right. Just want to make sure that is known as well. So appreciate it. Are you, what does it say? Are you hiring the Young Turks? Are the Young Turks hiding today? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because I saw something of them earlier. I was actually going to cover, YouTube sent me in the old algorithm their video covering what I was going to cover, but I didn't want to get into it today on Thanksgiving. It was Piers Morgan actually fucking handing it to Dave Rubin on the issue of Israel and Gaza. So maybe we'll do that on Sunday's show, because, surprisingly, flowers where flowers are due. Ladies and gentlemen, I continuously try to prove on this show that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what side of the aisle you're on. When you're right, when you're talking facts, when you're speaking the truth, I will give you your praise. I will give you your flowers, but I will not forget or, forgive anything that has happened in the past. That's just kind of how it works. So I have no problems, no issues giving kind of Pierce his flowers for, giving it to Dave Rubin in that. If you haven't checked it out, you can check it out. If not, wait till Sunday, and we'll probably cover it on the show. But yeah, let's dive into, let's just go right into the front lines, because again, we don't need too much on, we don't need to dive too deeply into that. It's basically just kind of commending Zelensky for his not accepting what Russia is doing, not accepting what Trump is doing, and obviously working with the Europeans more favorably. Again, like we've talked about on this show, it doesn't take 4 million subscribers on a YouTube channel. I'm trying to prove that here on Blunt Politics. You can get good information here. You can get good insights. You can hear things that maybe you're not hearing in other places yet. Here on somebody that has 15,000 or less subscribers, the same way you can on, channels that have 4, 2, 3, 1 million subscribers, because we've been talking about very similar things where it would be very smart. And we've been seeing it from Zelensky that he's trying to get ever more closer to Europe to try to, solidify his relationship with the Europeans and the European Union, because of the unsettling nature of his relationship with the United States, because of the untrustworthy nature of Donald Trump, because of the unpredictability of which way the United States is going to go in their support. It's been pretty evident for a long time that Zelensky has recognized that the European Union has at least been to this time right now been more willing to recognize the danger posed to them by Russia if in fact they were to ever get through Ukraine, like we played on the show yesterday from Russian state media, where Solovyov was talking about going into Berlin and going into Paris, which if it doesn't tell you their true intentions, I don't know what will. But all right, let's dive into this. This is The Professor. The Professor Explains. Great channel that I watch here sometimes to get some updates on Ukraine. Got a little over 200,000 subscribers. But yeah, this is talking about the Pokrovsk area. It says Ukraine's front line just delivered real good news. And again, just to kind of keep everybody up to speed, as I like to do, this is the deep state map. And let me see if I can. I was looking at different areas. Let me find out where I am here. Let me see. We are in the. I always get lost. Where am I looking? I'm looking for Pokrovsk. Why can't I find it? I always have to go to Dnipro. And out. All right, so it's got to be in this area. For crying out loud. I always get lost, for crying out loud. All right, give me a second. It's got to be right here, right? Right here. For crying out loud. How did I get lost in this again? This is Zaporizhia, so it's going to be right here. Right, here we go, right here. For crying out loud. It takes me forever to find it, because there's like two Pokrovs. There's one with an E on the end as well. There's one at the end of it. But happy to report, just trying to show you here that not much change. Let me see if I can get to the most recent timeline here, because I was kind of going back to see the changes in the battlefield, to see how it's changed over the months, which is why I like this deep state map, because you can kind of go back on certain dates, see what territory was held by who. You can see the advancements and stuff. So let's go to the most recent of the maps, which is the 26th. So the 26th here. So if you go from the 26th back to the 25th, not much change, if any. No change whatsoever, right? No change whatsoever. So we can focus in here on Pokrovsk. You can see Pokrovsk here, written here. And then this is the red in territory, obviously held by the Russians. Territory in gray is disputed territory, so to speak, territory being fought over. If we go back to the 26th, you can see, so this is modern day. Real time, up to speed, basically from their most recent update, and you can see no change. So that's obviously no change is good. No change is good news on the front lines in this aspect. Because you can see from the 24th to the 25th how much area is filled in. You can see here and a little bit over here also being filled in by the Russian army. So yeah, just before we get into that, I wanted to show you the frontline map on at least the most heavily defended and fought over area right now, which is Pokrovsk. Obviously the most talked about as well. So let me throw this on here. This is just a kind of quick update from the professor on some good news coming out of the front lines. All right, let's jump into it. Hit the like, if not for me, for Thanksgiving, if not for Thanksgiving, for Ukraine. Slava Ukraine, Heroyam Slava. Appreciate it.
It's Thanksgiving in the United States. Thank you, my friends, for being here. We're going to talk mostly about the battlefield. We'll talk about a couple of other things, what happened overnight, what happened a few days ago, and also get into the big political events as well, just a little bit. Okay, let's talk about what happened the other day. There was this big drone attack, and some drones even went into Romania. I talked about that.
Yeah, this was crazy. I didn't even get an opportunity to report on this, which was kind of nuts. So, this was, you can see the drone here being carried to basically the front doorstep of, I don't know, is that the Moldovan is that the Russian ambassador? Yeah, it was. It was the Russian, summoned the Russian ambassador to deliver an official protest. So they basically delivered the guy the fucking drone back. And I don't know if he shows the picture, but this was the one, I don't know if this is the one found on like just a random guy's roof, right? It was just like a random house in Moldova, and you look up and it was this fucking drone just sitting on there. So again, if you're talking about how dangerous this is to people in the surrounding areas, when you got 500, 600 drones and, ballistic missiles being shot up at areas like Lviv, where they're, as far west and close to different NATO and allied countries, we're looking at this. Obviously, Moldova, not one of those. But yeah, dragged down during a Russian grain drone to the foreign ministry building in Chisinau, and summoned to the Russian ambassador to deliver an official protest, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, something that I didn't get to touch on in the show because of all the nonsense going on here in the country.
And I didn't see any protests from Romania, but good on the Moldovans. They dragged a downed Russian grand drone to the foreign ministry building, and the Russian ambassador had to see it when he's being summoned for an official protest.
That's high level trolling right there, right? That is premier level fucking chef's kiss level trolling right there to the Russians. Like, I think you lost something. You know what I mean? Like, basically just be like, hey, it's almost like you're a pickpocket and you pick somebody's pocket, but you only did it to kind of show them to kind of like be careful in New York City or whatever, and you kind of give it back. Like, is this yours? You missing something? Did you forget something? Did go off course a little bit? Did you? A little off course? So again, high level trolling. Love it.
Moldova's foreign ministry summoned the Russian ambassador to hand him a note of protest after 6 Russian drones flew into Moldova's airspace during the massive attack on Ukraine. A Russian drone that fell on Moldova was placed by the foreign ministry for the ambassador's visit. So he had to be aware of what was going on there. Good on them. This, what you're seeing here, is in Ternopil, an apartment building where Russia massacred 33 people in one strike, including 6 children.
So this was part of the ongoing strikes that we were talking about. I believe it was the night that we reported, I think it was like 30 or 40 different deaths from Russian strikes. Does this seem like a country that's ready to make peace? Does this sound like or seem like a country that's attacking military targets only? I think it's something like 6 or 7 children died in this attack as well. But this is something that is reality. This is, again, these are the people that were supposed to take their broken promises and their trust their word. The Russians and Vladimir Putin, people responsible for this type of shit. We're supposed to trust what they say, and don't worry, we'll take their document, we'll pass it off as our own. We can manipulate our president. Steve Witkoff has it all he's got it all under wraps, folks. Don't worry about it.
This is what the Ruski Mir is bringing to Ukraine. And
very fucking true. Very true. Ruski Mir, something that we talked about a lot on the show at the beginning of the war. Haven't brought it up a lot lately, just because I feel like it's been very obvious. What the Russian intent is to is destruction, is pillaging, is overall conquering. And we talked about earlier on the war when Ukraine would reestablish control over a village or a city. They would immediately go to work fixing the roads, fixing the bridges, getting the communications back online, getting the water running, fixing the electricity, making it so people had heat, fixing the buildings. I told you about my trip to Ukraine. Like just before we got to Kyiv, they were getting fucking hammered. They were getting fucking peppered with drones and missiles, right? And we were hard pressed to find a building looking like this one that you're seeing on your screen, right? We were hard pressed to find an area that looked as destroyed as that, because the Ukrainians are so quick to fucking fix it, so quick to rebuild and to try to, make it so there's no evidence of Russian attack and to get on with their lives. It was fucking mind blowing to me. Like, I expected to see a city like this. When I drove into Kyiv, I expected fully to see, even seeing all the footage and knowing the areas that were hit and how effective the city defenses were. I just, in my mind, I thought I would see a lot more of that. Put it that way, and I didn't. We actually had one of the defense contractors that drove us from one place to another. We actually asked her, say, hey, is there anything on the way that you could show us? I had my cameras, GoPros ready. I was ready to fucking, make it for content. And, she kind of did a little detour. We did see the children's hospital in Kyiv that was struck. But even that, it was only on one side because the rest of it was kind of rebuilt and fixed up. So even that wasn't really as evident as, couldn't tell it was struck by the Russians, put it that way. So, I was very, very happy to see. But yes, the Ruski Mir is basically go in, pillage, destroy, rape, plunder. They go in and they destroy a city. They don't rebuild it. They suck the natural resources out and they move on. They just, it's almost like a scorched earth from World War II. They just go in and once they leave everything, it's like I don't know, like the beetle that eradicates the pine trees or whatever the trees that they are. The Japanese beetle there, I think it's like what is it, the Japanese oak or something like that. I'm not sure, but anyway, it just wipes out entire fucking swaths of forest and shit. Just for miles you can see. That's what the Ruski Mir is. That's what the Russian way of life. That's what they do to places.
We need to see this. We need to be aware that this is what's going on. Civilians, while they're asleep, there's no military purpose here. Okay. Novokobishevsk oil refinery was attacked by Ukrainian drones overnight. Explosions were reported. Damage is going on. Just listen.
No.
Yeah, you can hear it in the background. Yeah, so you can hear
once again strike. Thanks to the Russian citizens for putting this out there. No better confirmation as to the accuracy, the successfulness of the Ukrainian attacks than these Russian citizens that continuously put this shit on Telegram and different social media sites. Again, giving us great insights, great information, and great video footage of these strikes.
I don't know what's going to come of that. I didn't see more of that. There was also a Ukrainian attack drone reportedly hit the garrison of the Russian Katarovite unit in Akhmat North in Grozny. And so we do see some visual evidence of that. And you can geolocate as well and see that was a garrison that was attacked. But there wasn't a lot of these kind of things overnight. This is a Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopter door gunner shooting down a Russian Shahed attack drone with a M134 minigun. This is a picture from just a couple days ago that just surfaced.
I'm going to see here, just for the sake of time, I'm going to see if I can go on to where he talks about this next one. Yeah, right here. Talk about Pokrovsk.
Russian invaders conducted 49 assaults.
So it says
Again,
in the Pokrovsk direction, Russian invaders conducted 49 assaults in the areas of Volodymyrivka, Zapovidne, Fedorivka, Rodinitske, and Krasny. Liman and fuck off. Novo Ekonomichne, Pokrovsk, Koltne, Udachne, and Molodetsky. Yalta and Dachny. Jesus Christ. Give me a break. Fucking hell. Thank God I did that before I started drinking. But yeah, so you can see a ton of different assaults, and we'll go on to, as I showed you on the map there, not much really to show for it, at least over the last 24 hours.
And 49 is not that terribly high. I mean, it's the highest place on the battlefield, but it's not as high as the 100 some odd assaults that we had been seeing over the last few days. So let's look at this. Euromaidan Press. Russian forces rushed to exploit Ukraine's withdrawal from southern Mirnograd. Mirnograd is a sister city to Pokrovsk, and walked straight into a coordinated ambush. Ukrainian command pulled back from exposed southern positions to avoid encirclement. 35th Marine Brigade held the flanks while the main force repositioned north. On the eastern flank, Russian infiltrators advanced, apparently without drone observation, on a main route into the city. Marines cut them down with machine gun ambushes while drone
a big portion of the news story that's been going on in and around Pokrovsk as well has been the fog. Not so much the fog of war, but the actual fog on the battlefield has made it very difficult, if not damn near impossible, for drones to be flying. And if they are flying, to be effective, because they need to fly so low. So they inevitably either run into objects or get shot down, or they're just not as effective as if they could get high in the sky. The fog makes it difficult for, say, like the artificial intelligence to pick up on targets, to recognize targets, to recognize outlines of facial features, that type of thing. So I think that's also what's been helping the Russians, in and around Pokrovsk, and their advance, like we had been seeing. Lately, because the Ukrainian side just did not have the ability to send up the amount of drones, or enough drones, or to have them be as successful as they needed them to be with the thick fog cover that's been covering that area.
To track their movement. So the Russians thought that they had the Ukrainians on the run, and they just pushed way forward, and they ran into a pre-planned ambush.
So basically, he's depicting an assault where the Russians overextended themselves. They thought they had the Ukrainians on the back foot. They thought they were on the run, and what the Ukrainians did was basically just pull back from their original positions, set up and fortify different positions in the rear, and then the Russians that pushed forward, but didn't push forward in enough force, with the numbers that they needed, and basically would just walk right into the Ukrainian trap that they had set, and were basically mown down. It said on the western flanks, Marine deployed FPV drones, octocopters with explosive charges, and thermal vision drones to destroy Russian teams trying to cut off the retreat through the tree lines near the railway. F-16 struck the Kapitolnoye mine and a key Russian foothold, a drone operator hub with GBU-39 bombs. Su-27s dropped JDAMs on a building where Russian troops were preparing to isolate Ukrainian group. Russian sources initially claimed they had cut off the Ukrainian withdrawal. Hours later, the same sources announced that they had taken southern Mirnograd, and in admission that they contradicted their earlier claims and confirmed the withdrawal succeeded. Ukrainian forces now hold northern Mirnograd and continue reinforcing northern Pokrovsk.
On the western flanks, Marines deployed FPV drones.
Again, I'm not going to force him to read the same thing that I just read for you guys, so I'll go on to the next portion. This one.
And drone operators, and they've been.
And then this says from the Euromaidan Press: one road is all that keeps Ukrainian troops connected to Mirnograd. It only opens when fog blind Russian drones. So you can see how it works on for both ways as well. So the fog hindering the Ukrainian drone operators also hinders the Russian drone operators as well. So you can tell that they're exploiting that. The Ukrainians are exploiting that road. They're exploiting that ability whenever they have it, to make sure that they keep connected, with the rest of their brigade. So the 38th Marine Infantry Brigade and the 79th Air Assault Brigade can slip vehicles through, but only on the foggiest days, as we were just talking about. Russian FPV operators from the elite Rubicon group watch the route constantly. Sabotage teams lurk along it. If Rodinsk village falls, that road closes for good. Clear skies might do the job first. So again, just kind of showing you the up to date. Here's I'll let him explain the map that we were just looking at here.
Rod, it's a sister city, Rodninsky, this road and that city. If that gets closed, they're going to have a real difficult time getting in.
So here, I'll just kind of, just so we can make it a little bigger on your screen, I have the control here. We'll zoom out a little bit, right? So you can see, we don't have to zoom out that much, but you can see Manharad right here, right? So what we're talking about here is this road, right, that goes through Rodinsky. So if this road here, let me see if I can zoom in a little more. Is that good on your screen? Yeah, you guys can kind of check that out, right? You guys can see that. So this road here that we're talking about, if this road here were to get closed, which is basically right now on the foggiest days, because you can see it just kind of the disputed territory, you can see just butts right up to that road, just in this intersection. Just in this one intersection, right? But obviously you can see how close, the disputed areas are to that road. So clearly it's only on the foggiest days, as we were just talking about, that the Ukrainians can manage to get vehicles, food, equipment, ammunition through there, to their troops that still may be fighting in this general vicinity, or obviously in Mir Norad. So yeah, just to kind of give you a better look at that road. Let's see, does it give you the... Can I tell you what the name of the highway is? Let me see. What statistics, weather? Let me see. This is going to tell me the weather here. Yeah, so you can see here, rain. Here's the temperatures. Here's the winds. Fog in the air. Here's the cloud coverage. That's why I like this. This is a pretty good site. But let me see if I can change from satellite to... let's see. How do you change? Oh, here you go. Let me go topo. I'm trying to get the name of that highway, but it's not giving it to me. Or the number of the highway, I should say. But yeah, that'll give you a good idea of what we're talking about. So you can see just that little, you can see it right there. See this little pocket? So basically this is the little pocket that they're forced to use now. Just the road is right there. But you can see how close the troops, the disputed territory is to that road. So basically that's what we're looking at on that map as well. But let's see, anything else here? Yeah, he goes on a little bit to this other article as well.
Okay. Recent Russian advances elsewhere on the front line have largely been opportunistic and exploited seasonal weather conditions.
As we just said, as we were just talking about. So a lot of these advancements have come under the cover of, heavy cloud cover, heavy fog, rain when the drones can't fly, right? So they're having to use any and anything at their disposal that they can use to gain an advantage to their benefit. It just seems to be working as it, relates to how the battlefield is going and what's being used, because of drones, so heavily being depended on and leaned on that, when it's pouring rain out and the drones can't be effective, when it's really foggy and the drones can't be effective, that's when you need to make their push. And they have figured that out at least.
So the playbook has been this: Russian forces are pursuing an offensive campaign design that consists of battlefield air interdiction efforts that's using drones to get behind enemy lines and do some damage, and then infiltration missions, these small teams to flood into the city. However, ISW reports Russian infiltration missions elsewhere on the front line have not resulted in advances similar to those in Pokrovsk and Huliopol directions. So it's working in some places, it's not working in others, and that's the big lesson here. Okay, Ukraine's also putting now they're learning from each other, right? I showed the Russians doing this to some of their tanks with this porcupines, like on a bristle end on a stick. Okay, Ukraine is also putting the porcupine technique to use, this time on a U.S.-supplied Stryker APC. The vehicle was spotted fitted with brush-style anti-drone protection, similar to the cage armor seen on Russian equipment.
But one would have to, how much time, how much time does it take to do that? Is there a better way? I don't know. They know basically from frontline experience, so I'm not going to question it, but it seems a bit odd, but whatever works, right? Whatever works. Sometimes the odd choices are the correct choices that work the best, right? So I'm not going to question it. But, definitely a strange sight to see.
And Russia's learning from Ukraine. Russia's shifting toward reusable drones as supply issues and battlefield demands mount. Platforms like the Night Watch and the Bulldog 13 now carry multiple munitions, resist jamming, and return for reuse, saving costly tech. Interceptor drones are also evolving using electronic
Platforms
rod.
like the Night Witch. Let's see what's the Night Witch. Night Witch drone. Night Witch drone. Russia's towards reusable drones. Let's see if this explains anything. What is the Russian drone type? Prototype is claimed to lift 12.5 kilograms. It's shown at KPM. Drone is small and cheaper. Carries a significant payload. Is harder to shoot down. That's not it. From disposable to reusable. Napalm has been documenting these for years. So which one's this? That's not it either. That's the Orlan. The Bulldog 13 represent a deliberate pivot. The Night Witch and the Bulldog 13 represent a deliberate pivot to reusable designs to integrate better sensors, hardened electronics, and longer range communications. A video highlighted by Forbes shows the Night Witch, a reusable hexacopter strike drone, dropping mortar rounds on Ukrainian positions on an island in the Dnipro River. So that's it right there. So that's the Russian Night Witch bomber drone. Looks very similar to the drone I saw being tested out in Ukraine when we were there. I don't know how, you can't tell what the size of it is there really from that picture, but the drone reportedly carries 20 kilogram payload, flies up to 40 minutes and cruises at 60 kilometers an hour, with thermal imaging, optic zoom, ability to drop 4 munitions per sortie. The Bulldog, a smaller reusable quadcopter, which is this one here on the bottom, reportedly carries 4 kilogram payload, includes modular strike packages, enhanced resistance to Ukrainian jamming. But it's not fiber optic. Doesn't seem like either one of them are fiber optic drones. So how have they been? How are they so good at resisting Ukrainian jamming? It would be my next question. Accommodate sensors and processing capabilities that would be too expensive to lose in a single attack. However, Ford's majority must flown back to base, cutting effective operational time in half. Russians claiming that the can claim range. So basically what it's saying, so if you got a 40-kilometer range, but it's not a reusable drone, you got that full 40 kilometers that you can use. If you got a 40-kilometer range and it's a reusable drone, you basically have under 20 kilometers because you also have to make the return flight back to base or you're losing the drone anyway, right? So there's a give and take to that. But I'm surprised to see that it's not fiber optic. And I'm curious what specific advancements they're using to cut down on the jamming. Another more advanced interceptor uses charged metal rods to deliver an electric pulse that disables multiple Ukrainian drones in midair. That seems to be the opposite. That's on drones, not for the drones. Let's see. Russian units now require drones with interference-resistant navigation, autonomous targeting, better optics and thermal sensors, hardened electronics. These components are very expensive. Moscow cannot afford to lose them in every attack. On the other hand, Forbes underscores the Western sanctions limit Russia's access to high-end chips and sensors, forcing Russia to rely heavily on Chinese imports. Okay, so definitely something that we need to keep an eye on. The drone raises and slowing down. That's what everybody thought. All right, so something you got to keep an eye on. I'm sure something that will be counteracted by the Ukrainians, or it's something that if it hasn't already be, in the works, in the studies to be counteracted, then you can certainly guarantee it will be. All right, so that should probably do it for the news portion, right? I don't want to, bore everybody too into tears on Thanksgiving before you've had the tryptophan, right? But just to kind of dive into a little bit of what I would typically watch, say, if I'm not diving into the news or the politics or the rigmarole of the day. I thought it would be kind of cool to kind of check out some of these again, non-political channels or stuff that again, I don't watch when I'm not watching politics, excuse me. So if I could jump into just a little bit of this, one of my favorite channels as it pertains to World War II in history. You guys know my passion for World War II if you've been watching the show long enough. This is Walking the Ground. This is with Al Murray. He's fantastic. It's also with what's his name? James Holland as well, who is a great gentleman on the left, who is a fantastic historian, somebody that I've been watching and following for a long time now. So they started this new channel here where they go around and they talk about different aspects of World War II. They actually go to the sites. They actually go and touch the physical planes. They touch the physical tanks. They talk to people that were there. They're in the bunkers. So if I could just dive into just a couple minutes of this, and then I'll show you this one as well, if I may, which is, just another aspect of something else I watch on, YouTube. When again, I'm just kind of, trying to do something mindlessly, is, more the travel side of YouTube, and people going to, far reaching corners of the planet that you might not travel to or ever travel to yourself, and, seeing their experiences and seeing them share their experience. So this is just one of them. This is Mike OK. He kind of blew up pretty recently, really, from his trips to North Korea, to China, to places like Afghanistan, and him just kind of, doing it all himself, not going to the big city places. He's hitchhiking everywhere. He's meeting locals. He's sleeping in, fucking trucks and tents and stuff like that. So, just, again, another little aspect of shit that I like to get into when I'm not watching politics or diving into the news. So I'm going to dive into this one first. Let's watch just a little bit of this. I figured it'd be cool just to kind of, watch something that isn't Donald Trump, that isn't Vladimir Putin, that isn't talking about ICE. Today on a day where we can be thankful for the men and the women that sacrifice so much so that we could have and be in the position, have the things that we have and be in the position that we are today. Even as we think the world is on fire, we have it far better now than we ever possibly could have imagined, if the men and women didn't sacrifice what they sacrificed during the war years for us. So yeah, let me just jump into a little bit of this, a little bit of something different for you guys. I apologize if it's not your cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea, and unfortunately it's my name on the banner. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. To Al, shout out to James Holland, shout out to Walking the Ground, shout out to World War II headquarters. I appreciate it. I've been begging to have James Holland on the podcast. I would love the opportunity to get to interview James or Al or both of them. I know I'm kind of pushing my luck trying to get both of them, but James, somebody that I've read his books. He's been on a ton of different documentaries and different shows throughout the years on like the History Channel and Discovery and such, I'm sure. But yeah, that would be very, very cool. So I've sent him a DM. We're trying to hopefully maybe get that in the works if it's possible. But if they end up seeing this for any reason, I appreciate you guys. Shout out to you lads. Cheers to you. I appreciate the work that you do, keeping this history alive. It's very important.
Al, I'm very excited that you've never been here before.
Well, I'm inspecting it in the manner of Field Marshal Irvin Rommel.
Are you?
Yes.
On your inspection tour, the 30th of May?
So basically, they're inspecting here where they are. They're above Gold Beach, of course, one of the 5 beaches on D-Day. But they're inspecting the bunker. They're hands on, their feet on the ground here, and they'll be checking out the different bunkers and aspects of D-Day. Again, we can dive around and kind of jump around to some of their different videos as well, because they check out the cool the planes, the tanks, the equipment, the everything. It's cool how they're going about doing this, and in true fashion, as they've named it, Walking the Ground, are actually feet on the ground here.
So Holland, show me what you've made for me here at Long-sur-Mer, bitte schön.
Jawohl, Herr General.
No,
construction begun.
That'll do.
Construction began in September 1943.
Well,
This is a Kriegsmarine. They're not army. They're Kriegsmarine.
I mean, look at that. I mean, still there to this day, just sitting there on the beach, I find that fucking unbelievably cool. Still with the fucking artillery marks, the bullet holes. You can see just how they were built, how fortified they were, how much time was spent, the effort they spent, but just how useless it was in the long run.
Why are they Navy and not Army?
Honestly, I don't know, but they just are.
Some sort of organisational thing.
Yeah, it's an organisational thing, and you know how hand in glove the army was with the navy in the German Wehrmacht.
Yeah.
So obviously not a lot of cooperation. These are 152mm guns, so they're big boys that can hurl a shell a very, very long way.
152mm gun. Look at this thing.
And nowadays you'd do that with a cruise missile, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, these are naval guns because the Kriegsmarine can't. They'll have built these for a battleship, won't they?
Yeah.
That then can't sail because by this stage of the war, the Kriegsmarine doesn't dare leave harbour with any of its big ships. So it's what do you do with those crews? What do you do with these guns?
Yes.
You stick them up here, don't you?
Yeah, exactly that.
And it's no coincidence they build this sort of after the Kriegsmarine is checked out.
Yeah.
Of the war. I mean, they are big.
They're big beasts.
Big beasts.
They can lob a shell, a long way. And you can see the damage. These bits are not shell damage. Those are things for kind of affixing camouflage nets and stuff. But you can see the big shell dent here.
Yeah.
But you can also see the quality of the concrete, because this is in really, really good condition 80 years on.
Yeah.
And you can see
it still amazes me. It astonishes me, even though I know he's a historian, this is what he does for a living, just how much knowledge he has on this subject, just how much knowledge James and also Al, who I believe was just a British performer. I'm not completely familiar on Al's, how he come into being a part of like World War II stuff, but I have seen him on different older British television shows that I remember. But they also check out these bunkers here, which are pretty cool that are still there. And I would love one day, it would just be an absolute dream one day to be able to again retrace the steps of the Allies from Normandy, through Europe. All the way into Berlin, and do that and follow and check out the historical sites. And there's fantastic people on YouTube as well that have channels just set up to let you know where, if you're going to these places, where you can find the battle damage that still remains from World War II, the sites and stuff that still remain. And so it's pretty cool that different aspects and different tour guides, different companies do specifically that. Like if you're in Europe and you want to check out the Eagle's Nest or whatever it may be, any aspect of World War II or something that had history in World War II. I was able to check out Dachau in my time in Germany on my trip to Ukraine. So that was something that I never in a million years thought that I would have the opportunity to do, the privilege to do. You can check that video out on my YouTube. Just go into Boston Brian, search Dachau, and I'm sure it'll come right up for you. But that was definitely an eye-opening experience and something that I will never forget. So, to retrace, to be able to retrace from, the beach to the last bullet fired would be, a dream come true.
Yeah, it's definitely
pretty mega.
It's massively mega. And it's sort of mean, and it's kind of exactly what you expect these things to look like. And normally, in films, they're spitting MG42s.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much, that's a lot of concrete above him. I don't know how much I'd be trusting those rusty fucking single poles in one in each corner anymore.
It's very cool, isn't it?
It's extremely cool.
But it is just an observation.
Look at how thin.
It's not anymore. So
look at how thin that thing is in the corner. Like, right? Jeez. And I'm sure they did their due diligence and their mathematical work to figure out how much it could be. It's a long time on from there. I don't know how how much is still left in the how much of the strength is still left in that one. I'd be a little worried.
None of this foliage and green fecundity would have
But look at it from the outside. You know what I mean? Look at this thing. Lobbing, right towards the beaches. I find this stuff incredibly cool that this stuff would still be here. You can still walk up to it. You can touch it. You know what I mean? You can fucking sit, whatever. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
So I'm guessing something made that hole.
Yeah, so exactly, it did. So this is the shot from Ajax.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a cool story. This is actually a direct hit on this gun from the ship called Ajax. I mean, Chet, listen to this story. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, so exactly, it did. So this is the shot from Ajax.
Yeah.
Which I've often waxed lyrical about.
You have, yeah.
So it's hit here, and you can see there, that lozenge shape.
Yes.
That's where the shell has hit. And on the other side of that, you can't see it from here, but on the other side of that, it is completely smacked.
So
do you have any idea how difficult, and you call it a lucky shot, call it whatever you want, but I mean, the fucking accuracy it would take back in the 40s, right? To using the technology that they had in that day to aim and to get the right arc and the angle and fucking distance and coordinates and stuff, like to be able to fire a shell directly through this gun it's mind-blowing. It really is.
That's the carriage or recoil mechanism, isn't it? That's basically bent out of wax. So
that's.
I mean, you do wonder if the crew were at their stations at this point, in which case they were all plastered all over the inside of this bunker. I mean,
I mean, that's a horrid thought, but it is to hit that from 6 miles out at sea when you've got no GPS.
6 miles out at sea, 6 fucking miles, and you hit that thing. I mean, come on, how awesome is that? I mean, that just goes to show you the capabilities, the abilities of these fucking of the soldiers of the Navy. Unbelievable. Just, I mean, try to go 6 miles off on shore and even see that thing. Never mind hit it with something. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. But here, there's a couple more of these too, where they're checking out. There's this one where they're checking out the Sherman. Ready?
This is a Sherman tank, and it was the mainstay of the Allied armies in World War II. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why this, for me, was the best all-round tank of the entire war.
This isn't a museum. It's World War II armor in Florida, where tanks and weapons from the Second World War still work. I'm James Holland. Come with me.
And it's all right. It's all right. You guys, you're very welcome to call me a dork. I fully am prepared for it. I understand it that as, now a 40-year-old, I have to say it is probably not typical to be as infatuated and as, involved and as passionate about some of these things. Probably not what every 40-year-old guy is out there watching, but call me weird, feel free, but I can't get enough of this shit.
Now, tanks are very, very complex things, so you want to make your complex thing as simple as you possibly can, and that's the whole ethos behind the Sherman tank. It's really straightforward, and this is one of the examples of that. So this is the suspension arms. They're on the outside. They've got very few wheels, so that's fewer wheels that you've got to sort out if anything goes wrong.
You probably wouldn't be able to recognize just how simple that is. It probably looks complicated to a lot of people. But if you were to take a look at the equivalent German tank and how they had the I think it was something like 17 or 16 overlapping wheels on each side of it. So if you were to, say you've had a problem with one on the inside, you had to remove, a ton of them. It was very time consuming. It was very laborious. And it just definitely wasn't efficient on the battlefield. Whereas the Sherman here was very, very easy to work on, whether it be the engine, whether it be the tracks. It was made that way. They were made to be able to, to fix on the fly, to work on the fly, to get, repairs done rapidly on the battlefield, which again went a long way in helping the Allies, defeat what were, more substantial, more heavily armored, bigger gunned German tanks, just lesser numbers of them. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
It's wrong. You just unbolt it, put it off, put another one on. Super simple. You compare that to a German tank, lots of interleaving wheels and complexity, and to get the suspension on, say, a Panther tank, a German Panther tank, for example, you've got to take everything off and start all over again. Not so with a Sherman. It's simple and basic, and that's what you want. And when it comes to driving it, anyone in America who's driven an automobile, they can get into one of these. It's the same principle. Clutch,
I mean, again, another huge difference because, you know, we always talk about the difference between and what, you know, made the Allies win the war. Was it the number of tanks? Was it the, you know, the simplicity? You know, was it the, you know, the overcomplication of the German? But what this was, you know, anybody, any kid, especially in that time where vehicles were, again, not that prevalent, not everybody, you know, had or was, you know, known to be driving a vehicle, obviously, in that time of day. It made it very easy for anybody to get in there and basically learn, right? If you've ever even sat behind the wheel, you probably know what's going on as far as the controls in a Sherman. But for a lot of the German tanks, it was a lot more complicated. The transmissions in a lot of them were a lot more complicated. They were a lot heavier. They were a lot more fucking, you know, a lot more fuel consumption. Just a lot more difficult to maneuver and move. You know, for again, a country like Germany that a lot of the people had not been behind the wheel of a motor vehicle before. Let's see here.
Brake. Have sticks rather than a steering wheel, but otherwise it's exactly the same. It even has synchromesh on the transmission. And the transmission, by the way, is right at the front. You just unbolt a bit, take it out and repair it and put another one in. And then there's the engine. That's in here. And you can actually just pull this up, take it out, and put another one in.
I mean, he makes it sound a little bit easier than I'm sure it typically is, but, you know, in relationship to what the Germans would have to go through as far as, you know, taking out the engine of a Tiger tank or a Panther tank or, you know, whatever, you know, pick a tank, it's just not as easy as it is for, you know, the people with the right tools to, you know, get the bolts out, take off the hatch, you know, get the crane over the truck with the crane or the tank with the crane, lift out the engine, put the new piece in, put the new parts in, whatever it may be. Lock it back up and you're on your way. It just, you know, it makes it a lot easier for the soldiers knowing that they have the ability to do that in a short period of time relative to their German counterparts. But, you know, we got about 20 minutes left, so I'm going to hop on to this one now. I really do appreciate, you know, everybody at the World War II headquarters. Again, James, Al, if you're watching, if you ever see this, if anybody sends this to you, if it comes across your desk in any way, reach out. I'd love to have you on. Love to talk about World War II. Love to discuss what you guys know. It would be a fantastic show, and I'm sure people in the chat would be very happy to watch that and tune in. So please join us when you can, if you can. I would appreciate it. But yeah, let's dive into, again, just another aspect, another different portion of YouTube, another different portion of, you know, whatever you watch there. You know, the travel aspect, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand again with what we were just watching and, you know, being in Europe and seeing the different sites and stuff. But I love seeing these different people, you know, without budgets, you know, without fucking crews with them, just kind of roughing it and going to different places that their passion takes them, and meeting different people and, you know, spending fucking 24 hours on a sleeper train in Afghanistan, whatever it may be, you know, just putting themselves through hell to be with the local people, to feel the culture and not just the, you know, the 5 or 4 star hotels just so you could say that you were in that area. So again, this is Mike OK. He is a British YouTuber and does a great job at kind of, you know, showing you the real life that he does in experiences on his travels. This is him in China. Again, we'll just play a couple minutes of this. You know, just to kind of, again, a little bit of a different show. If you're just joining us, we covered a little bit of the news, a little bit of the updates from what's been going on. Now we're just kind of shooting the shit a little bit. We'll watch a little bit of this, and I'll check to see if anybody has any questions. Sent in a super chat, has any questions, and then I'll let you be with your friends, your family, your loved ones. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your day. But yeah, let's jump into this. Again, Mike OK from Britain does a great job. One of my favorites here on the travel aspect, the travel side of YouTube. So let's jump into it.
China, the final frontier, or is that space? Anyway, so far my travels across China have made international headlines. Why? Because apparently if you show this country in a positive light, you must be making communist propaganda, and I'm sick of it. It's time to put China to the real test. Join me as I attempt to hitchhike over 2,000 kilometers, rough camp in the strangest...
Just saying that. Just saying I'm going to hitchhike 2,000 miles across China. I'm not going to rent a vehicle. I'm not going to fly. You know what I mean? I'm not going to rent a motorbike. I'm going to hitchhike 2,000 miles across China. In the situations he finds himself in, he's had to have meetings with the Taliban. I think in this one, he's sleeping in a Chinese police station. right? And you would be like, wow, he's probably, been mistreated. No, it's unbelievable. He has the most fucking kind interactions. The people are, kind and peaceful and more than willing to help. It's amazing to see, the generosity of people around the world, especially from these different communities and countries that have been, kind of, demonized by the media, by mainstream media, and you kind of only hear one thing. You only kind of hear the bad things coming from there. It's really good to see, the smiles on the faces of the people and how generous they are when they have so little. A couple other people like a couple others I watch, like Simon Wilson, another British YouTuber. He does like the no money challenges in different places around the world, and he's, I think, set the world record now for handshakes and meeting different people. There's Backpacker Ben, again another British YouTuber who does similar things around the world. Just some fantastic content being made by these guys to show everybody the world, where, especially if you don't have the opportunity to see it for yourself,
Of places, smoke up with cops, and travel with a man that may or may not go on to become the most famous Chinese truck driver on planet Earth. And since China is the freedom-denying, social credit scoring, Western-hating country that many believe it is, then none of this should be possible. Should it? Right then, boys and girls, we have got a mission on our hands today. I've come to the edge of the city, Jiaguan, and we're going to try to do 500 kilometers today. The plan generally is if I can aim for 500 kilometers. Hello, brother, how are you? Yeah, man. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I feel like they all have so much, like, very similar experiences. They're always, thinking they're being called out, and then everybody's just so like, hey, how you doing? Shaking your hand. Oh, what? Thank you. What are you doing here? Because a lot of these places that these specific YouTubers go are not places that tourists would typically visit or tourists would ever visit, right? So you can see the shock on the faces. A lot of these people, the first time, a lot of them have seen a Western face or a white face or, whatever they would, whatever they call it. And, just their confusion and their intrigue, right? It's fascinating to me.
From England. England. I like your car, bro. Nice car, BMW. German car. Yeah. So if we can do 500 kilometers per day, we can get to Beijing in 4 days. That's the plan. We might have a rest day. We might not be able to do it. But let's give it a good old go.
I like him because he's known for tossing them back with the locals, right? He's known for getting wrapped up in a late night with the locals at an establishment and maybe not feeling so great the next day on his travels, which, fucking as an Irish guy from the Boston area can relate to.
I've got this piece of paper written in Chinese that basically says who I am and what I'm trying to do. And it's written.
He's smart too, because this is a very good idea. You know what I mean? The language barrier that you would obviously face traveling around China, especially in these, outer regions and the areas not traveled to by tourists. So he was smart enough to print out like this sheet in Chinese that kind of gave everybody an outline of what his plan was, what he was attempting to do, that he was hitchhiking. So he just basically hands it to the people, anybody that stops, they read it and they either say yes or no. And it takes out that whole, like, okay, you can't understand me, I can't understand you. Or, if you don't have service, to use Google Translate or whatever it may be. So I thought this was a pretty smart idea. And it led to him, meeting with this fabulous truck driver that he's about to meet that, again, probably gets paid, shit, absolute nothing, is traveling fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, dealing with unhealthy substances and materials, no doubt. And, is just so willing to give a ride or to give food or to give shelter. And it's, it's really, it brings back a little bit of the humanity that you think this planet has lost, right? When you're so involved in the news, when you're so involved in politics and, the mainstream media is so desperate to give you, the bloodshed and, if it bleeds, it leads, right? The bad things that happen that, everybody thinks the world's on fire and everything's going to shit. And, in a lot of aspects, you are right. Right. You are right. But I would still be very skeptical, or I am very skeptical to say, the world's on fire and everything's burning, considering, when you look back in history and, you think about how many countries were involved in World War II. we're nowhere near that right now in terms of countries at war, or even to the extent that they were at war, right? So bad things are happening, but you got to remember that, the advent of, security cameras, people having cameras on their cell phones, more people having cell phones. You're now just seeing more of it more frequently, quicker. Right. So all these things that were happening around the world since fucking the dawn of man, the dawn of time, have been going on. You just didn't hear it. You didn't see it. It was on the fucking 14th page of the paper, but it happened 3 months ago somewhere around the world. You know what I mean? But now you're seeing it from 10 different angles. You're seeing it instantaneously. You're seeing it from security cameras. You're seeing it from Ring doorbell cameras, right? So now it has it kind of seems like you're being bombarded by this bad news, and it gives you the feeling, the aspect that things are maybe worse off than they are. But again, to take a second and to watch things like this, it does restore your faith in humanity in a big way, which is something, the mental sanity we all need, right?
Brady,
Okay.
Although I do see one issue to his plan is, what if they respond? You know what I mean? What if they don't know yes or no and they respond in Chinese? That might be a little bit of a hindrance.
Okay. One person, yeah. Can I come with you as far as Zhangye?
So he goes around, he's asking people for different rides. Let's see, he finally gets a ride here.
Seen too many videos recently of car crashes, so but we'll get there quickly. Okay. Right, they might be driving very dangerously, but they have got.
He's scared because the guy's doing about fucking 130 miles an hour. He's like, if you heard him, he's like, well, the good news is we might get there quickly, but he's doing about 200 miles an hour. Watch.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. Right. So we've got a lift with these guys. They are driving dangerously fast, which is good and bad. I've seen too many videos recently of car crashes, so but we'll get there quickly. But they have got boiled eggs to give me, which is very nice of them. He said I'm sitting in the front, so then I'm the waiter, so I need to give them the eggs which are in the front. Chinese red.
Oh man. I mean, as a picky eater myself, this is, something that I know that I would struggle with if I did ever have the opportunity, the financial freedom to travel to these places that, that I would just kind of throw a dot at a map. Like that would be, because I'd be the Simon Wilson. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It's probably going over your head, but if anybody watches or is familiar with his, like he's desperate to find a McDonald's in all of these places so that he can get a bite to eat, right? I don't think I would be cut out so much. I would try it. I'm sure I would try to an extent, but I'm a texture guy, temperature guy. I'm a lot of things and a lot of guys in there, but yeah, I think that would be something that I would definitely have an issue with. Where's the nearest Mackey's? Where's the nearest Mackey's?
I think this is actually illegal in the UK because of how much caffeine it contains. So these guys they're actually going to change their route so that they can take me further.
Like this type of stuff, right? Like these people, these random Chinese guys picking up this random fucking British guy on the side of the road, changing their plans, redirecting their route, right? Changing up their whole day to give him the ride to the place that he wants to go. Just, again, Again, this is, the Chinese people, again, people that we've been, taught by the media to mistrust, or at least the government, right? A lot of people kind of put that on to the citizenry themselves. But, there is that aspect to it as well. But, just sitting here, random fucking chilling. Hey, yeah, you want to ride here? So sure. You want an egg? Sure. Fucking here you go.
Going to. Okay, so Wu-Wei, so
I'll fast forward because I know we're running out of time, where he meets the famous trucker, because he does meet this pretty cool trucker that ends up taking him a long, long way. Is it this guy? No, it's not this guy. Let's see here. Yeah, here he is right here.
Truck drivers,
Look at
he's
this guy. Look at
stopping
him.
here in the town.
Look at him.
Number one thing you don't want to be when you're hitchhiking is in the middle of a town. It's so difficult to get out of. You end up having to get a taxi to the edge of town. It's just a bummer. Okay, Sheshe, thank you so much.
Oh, so he just gets a ride from this guy. Let me see. Where does he find the next guy? Because the next guy ends up being like YouTube famous. The Mike kind of makes him famous on YouTube. Let's see here. Where is it? Is it this part? No, this is where he's waiting at the border.
everyone's laughing at me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here.
They're all looking at laughing at him. You know what I mean? They don't understand. They don't get his mission. They're like, why are you here? What are you doing? Doesn't make any sense. Very nice, very helpful, right? But just utterly confused as to what his mission is. It just doesn't make sense to them that he would be, trekking across. Oh, here he is. This is the famous truck driver. This part's great.
This is Mr. Chen. I didn't know it at the time, but Mr. Chen and I would go on to form a strong, meaningful bond and a friendship that would lead to him becoming the world's most famous Chinese truck driver.
Thank you so much. Mingzi? Hanzu. My girl. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yay.
I
love
it. English.
Yes. English. You Chinese, I am English.
Okay.
What goods are you transporting?
炼钢用的焦炭。
Okay.
我曾经警卫过你们驻华使馆，英国使馆在芳草地，我曾经在那里警卫过。Okay. 外围武警。
Okay, so this guy used to be a guard at the British Embassy in China, and now he's transporting steel-making materials across the country. Oh!
I love it. I love this shit. I really do. I can't get enough of it. I think it's great to see these interactions. You know what I mean? I think they end up going with each other for like several thousand miles. They create a bond with each other. They stop at food rest areas.
My driver's name isn't Hangzhou. I thought his name was Hangzhou. I've been calling him Hangzhou all day. His name's Mr. Chen.
And then he finds out like 1,000 miles into the journey that he's been calling him by the wrong name the whole time. Oh, it's just so real. I can just so see myself in that position. Like, I thought you said your name is this. I've been calling you that for the last 1,000 miles. You're just too nice to correct me. And then he finds out here. He's like, shit.
Which I feel bad about because he was like, my name's after a fucking 10 hours of us traveling together. He's like, by the way, my name's Mr. Chen. And I'm like, I asked you 8 hours ago what your name was, and you said Hangzhou. Must have got lost in translation.
All right, but let me get into thanking and taking any questions. We got a few minutes left here, and it's all right if we go a couple minutes over. No big deal. But yeah, that's just to kind of round us off to kind of dive into something else other than politics, other than news, other than anxiety filled fucking rage filled news clips. I figured it'd be a little better, a little easier. On the Thanksgiving Day, if we just kind of take a look at some of the different aspects of YouTube that kind of, people could use. If you haven't checked out any of that stuff, if it, it does, tickle your fancy, just to get out of that mindset of, fucking, everything's crumbling and everything has to do with news and social media. It's good to keep your mental health. So I'm going to go in here, see if anybody was kind enough here to send anything through the old Venmos, and then we'll get into the questions on the YouTube, if it's all right with you guys, and then I'll get you guys out of here. to celebrate your Thanksgiving. So yes, Nicole, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to you. No, I'm thankful for you guys. I really am. All of you guys, Allison, everybody that was nice enough yesterday, Damon, Garrett, Thomas, my sister Kelly, thank you so much. Yakov, thank you so much. Suzanne, Travis, Elaine, Jim, Susan, thank you so much. Moms, you guys are incredible. I really do appreciate you. But yeah, let's see here what anybody was talking about on the old YouTubes. Deb, thank you so much. I appreciate that for the one gifted. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You and JD always kicking in, always making sure other people are, staying involved in the chat. I can't say thank you enough. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving from Australia. That was a great one. I can almost guarantee Michael's not up anymore. If he is, he's going to have a rough day. He's going to have a rough day, fair dinkum. But I appreciate you, Michael. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry, as well. You guys are just so incredibly kind and generous. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Jerry, for everything you've done for this channel. Right back at you from everybody here, from Mel, Logan, and I, from everybody at Blunt Politics. We do appreciate you. And happy Thanksgiving to you. That same thing for Angela. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody from Angela to the chat. Thank you so much, Angela. Shout out to you. Shout out to Linda Lou as well for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Ty, coming in big here with another 10 gifted. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I mean, you guys have just been incredible. I know it's been a long haul. It's been a slow roll, but to see you guys stick with me throughout this process, to continuously be adding real individuals, real people, not bots, not fake, not fake accounts, but real individuals, has really been something that I appreciate, that I have been touched by. So thank you, Linda. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. T, what's up, you handsome bastard? Happy Thanksgiving from T. I appreciate you, brother. T is my brother from another mother on TikTok. I appreciate him doing what he does. We are now 3,000 miles away, unfortunately, but he was very close to me in the Boston area. But T, I appreciate you, brother. Good to link back up. Good to see you, my man. Appreciate you for all that you do, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Let's see here. Kyle, what's up, Kyle? Member for 20 months, brother. Congratulations, dude. He says, I knew you couldn't resist. Thank you, dude. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you, Kyle. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving to you and yours, you and the fluffy one, please. Pass on my Thanksgiving wishes. But thank you. Same. Oh, come on, Kyle. Just, it's unnecessary, but I appreciate it. He says, I knew you couldn't resist. Love you, Boston. Brian, may your Thanksgiving Day turkey be as delicious as your live streaming with all your lobsters. I appreciate that. I really, really, really do. Look forward to seeing you in the next Zoom, my man. I appreciate everything that you do. And then here to the two Jennies. Thank you, Jenny Faye. Thank you, Jen. I really do appreciate you guys for your incredible contributions back to back. Happy Thanksgiving, Brian, Mel, Logan, Pops, Mods, and Lobsters from Jenny Faye. She says she was listening at work while working in the kitchen. Stop by to say she's grateful for the community of sane folks that love and support each other as we fight the crazy. Enjoy food and family today. Love you all. Great sentiment. I support that. I condone that. And I second that. So thank you, Jenny Faye. I appreciate that. Same thing with Jen. Battle of the Gens. Can't be outdone. Love you all. So thankful for the voices of reason as I sit in a house full of mags. Eric's fam again. Fucking Godspeed to you. Godspeed. Make it out alive. But we appreciate you too so much. Thank you, Mark. You've been incredible, brother. Brian, do not apologize for your interest in World War II. My father served. Perhaps I am biased, but that was our greatest generation. Off, I have 2 runs for some turkey. All be well. Sincerely, Mark G. Mark, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the fact that your father was an American patriot. We recognize, we appreciate, and we thank him for his service and his dedication in being a hero for this country. And we can just hope to continue on that fight the best way that we could possibly do it. I know there are incredibly big shoes to fill, and we could not possibly hope to fill them all. But, we try our best here at Blunt Politics. So, Mark, thank you, brother. Thank you to your father. And, anybody else that has somebody that served, is serving, served in World War II or whatever it may be, we appreciate him. We thank him or her for their service. It's very, very important that we recognize that. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Yakov. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Brian, Mel, Logan, and Pops, have fun. Thank you so much. A good thing about living in Portland, right, on Thanksgiving is, like, a lot of places to cook your turkey with all those fires still burning, right? You could just probably pop over to the end of any corner, any block, and then just start cooking your turkey on the fire of the, the ashes that are still in flames there that the MAGA would have you believe. But yeah, you could even probably deep fry it. Just a lot of fires going on. So Yakov, thank you for fighting through all of that to come here on Thanksgiving. We appreciate you, brother. And of course, I'm being facetious. But thank you. To round it out, JD, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, fantastic, laugh-filled, humor-filled day with your friends, with your loved ones, whoever it may be, with your furry friends, with your pets. Make sure you're not giving them too much of the old Thanksgiving meal, probably a little bit too much sugar and stuff in there. Make sure if anybody's got any poinsettias, and you're having people come over with dogs, make sure you're cognizant of things that could be poisonous to the furry ones, the pets as well. Let's be mindful about them on these holidays, because again, a lot of people coming over may not be familiar with your pet, how he behaves, how he or she behaves, what he eats, what he can or can't eat. So probably something that you should probably talk to the people coming over to your house about, because again, we don't want to see anybody, especially our furry loved ones, getting hurt, because we know obviously people love poinsettias, but they're obviously poisonous to pups. So make sure you're doing the due diligence. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Go out there, kick some ass on the dinner table. Make sure you tell them Brian sent you when you're scoffing down that turkey, because JD Vance apparently doesn't believe that anybody likes it. Yeah. All right, guys. I gotta go. I'm gonna go celebrate Thanksgiving with my friends, family, loved ones. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great day. I will see you Sunday for the main show, and make sure you tell all your friends and family I said Happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, mods, as always, for showing up on the holiday. Thank you, everybody, for showing up on the holiday, and thank you, everybody, kind enough to gift. Sign up at sign up at Patreon.com. Sign up for a membership here at Boston Brian, or to send in a Venmo. So I appreciate it. I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy it. I know I will. All right? Crack them open. Let's go. Get them down. I'll see you later. Yeah, and that reminds me, don't forget, any fucking musically talented people out there, make sure, go back to the beginning of the show where we played that song. Give me a nice intro. Give me something we can start, getting real people in with. That's what I need. I'm kind of jealous of other people that I've had, kind of intros sent to them and they didn't have to do any work, because I'm not that good at that. So please, if anybody has any musical talent, help me out. Help me out, because I'm dying. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Lakita. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, all you guys. JD, Orb, Bruno, Michael. You guys have been fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you, JD.
nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
And God bless the United States. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country.
Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys. But it was too late.
Taking him back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses. He says rectum damn near killed him.
We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.